Hey everyone, it's Lindey. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Frequently Asked Fridays. Usually I like to do these kind of videos a little bit more informal and take it outside of my office, but if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. My life is a little chaotic. I'm starting to run out of time. I need to get this video filmed, so I am just very quickly going to film it right here in my designated filming spot because the equipment is already set up. And so instead of doing it super informal out of my office, I figured we would just play a nice little game of, is there rum in Lindey's juice today? Any guesses? But I am so glad you guys are here. I love doing these Frequently Asked Friday videos. If you are brand new to my channel, hello, my name is Lindey. I work from home as an e-commerce seller, and my YouTube channel is all about helping other sellers grow their online businesses. So if videos like that interest you, please do make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell. That way you're notified whenever I post new videos. And if you like this video series, please do make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It lets me know that you like this content, and it also helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. This is the first time you're catching an episode in the series. The Frequently Asked Fridays video series is all about answering all of your questions and filling these episodes with as much information as possible. But my personal favorite part of this video series is my partnership with Wholesale Ninjas. Every single episode, Wholesale Ninjas gives away a 100 count liquidation lot to one of my viewers. And this is episode number 7, so that means that 6 of you have already won a free liquidation lot from Wholesale Ninjas. And if you want to find out if you are winner number 7, just watch till the end where I announce the winner from the submissions from last episode. If you want a chance to win a free liquidation lot on episode number 8, all you have to do is ask me a question. Down in the video comments, just ask me a question to be featured on the next episode of Frequently Asked Fridays. Just make sure to start your question with 5 question marks, because it's the 5 question marks that lets me know that you are entering in to win a free liquidation lot from Wholesale Ninjas. Now, we do have to keep it fair. You can ask as many questions as you want, but only one of those questions can have the 5 question marks indicating entry into the giveaway. And if you're unfamiliar with Wholesale Ninjas, let me give you just a quick overview about them, and then we'll get into all of your amazing questions from the last episode. I've partnered with Wholesale Ninjas for well over a year now because I feel like they're a liquidation company that is really a step above and beyond other liquidation companies out there that exist right now. Their quality control is by far the most consistent of any liquidation company that I have ever purchased from. They really take the extra time to package their boxes so that there is very little breakage upon delivery. A huge annoyance when you're buying liquidation is having to deal with a bunch of stickers covering all of the products, but with Wholesale Ninjas, usually most of the lots are sticker free. There might be a few stickers here and there, but nothing compared to some of these other companies that I've shopped from. They're also one of the few liquidation companies out there that can truly accommodate any level seller. Whether you're just getting started and wanting to just get your toes wet and buy a smaller box lot, all the way up to the more experienced sellers that are looking for pallets or truckloads. So for all of these reasons and then some is why I am so proud to partner with Wholesale Ninjas for this video series. I do also have a coupon code. It's Lindey25. It gets you $25 off of anything site-wide. I will go ahead and link their website down in the video description, as well as my coupon code, and I'll even give you guys a link to some of my favorite lots on their site. All right, let's get on with the questions. Christopher Sword asks, how do you keep yourself motivated? I've been procrastinating on listing for days now. Okay, so this is a question that I get a lot. And as you guys probably know, I do a Monday live stream every single Monday, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. So as much as I talk about motivation, I even have a Motivation Monday live stream that we do every single week. I don't really believe in motivation. I don't really believe in motivation because I don't really believe that all of us are motivated every single day, nor do I think that we can motivate ourselves every single day. I absolutely love Mel Robbins, and she has a fantastic speech all about this. I also love all of her audiobooks. One of her most popular books is The 5-Second Rule. If you haven't listened to that audiobook or read that book, I highly recommend it. I do always have an affiliate code for Audible that gets you 2 free audiobooks. So if you want to go check out that book completely free, I will go ahead and link my affiliate link down in the video description. But the 5-second rule and honestly any other book that she's done, I would say go listen to those. And she also has some speeches that you can find on YouTube where she talks about motivation and how motivation doesn't really exist. And I 100% agree with her. She's basically started this movement that's a realization that motivation doesn't really exist. And if you wait until you're motivated to do things, you're never actually going to do them. And so that's basically how I've been operating for years. I don't motivate myself to do things, I just do it. I have to tell you that the hardest part of listing is getting started. So even if you don't feel like doing it, I'm telling you, if you just get started and do 1 or 2 listings, the rest after that will come a lot easier. Something else that I like to do is I kind of reward myself, or I give myself some sort of incentive for getting things accomplished throughout the day. For instance, if I don't really feel like listing, I tell myself that I will list for 2 hours and then my reward will be binge watching Netflix for the rest of the evening. We give children rewards and incentives for being well behaved or doing their chores. Just because you grow into an adult doesn't mean that suddenly a reward system no longer works. It still works. Give yourself some sort of incentive or something to look forward to so that when your work is accomplished for the day, you treat yourself. But as far as getting motivated to actually do something, you almost have to reprogram your mind. You need to just simply say, hey, I need to do this, and just start doing it. And once you get the ball rolling, usually everything else that follows comes a lot easier. Hopefully I say your name right. Tina Horschler? Horschler? Is it Horschler? What do you think is a good investment amount of money to spend to start off with? I'm concerned if I don't sell it, I may be stuck with it. So when I first started, I started with wildly different sums of money. When I first got started 14, 15 years ago, I started with $20 because that's literally all that I had. And when you start off with a very small dollar amount like that, you have to be a lot more diligent about what you are buying, and you have to do your research upon purchasing so that you know that you are making a wise decision because you only have a small amount of money to work with. But then when I got started again 5 years ago and I knew I was going to develop it into a full-fledged business, I started with $500. And with that $500, I was basically doing retail arbitrage and I was buying things from Facebook Marketplace. And as I shopped and as I purchased merchandise, I was doing a little bit at a time, and I was basically cherry picking items that I had a good feeling would sell based on research I was doing in the moment. So regardless of which dollar amount we're talking about here, there was still a common denominator. I was hand picking items and purchasing them based on the comp research that I was doing. So depending on whether or not I was at a yard sale or a thrift store or Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, if there was a product, before I even purchased it, I was looking up the comps on eBay to see if this is an item that was selling for enough money that I could actually turn a profit. And I was looking at sell-through rate. So I was checking to see how many was sold versus how many were actually listed. Because all of that information can give you a good idea whether or not you should purchase an item. The one thing that I was not doing when I first started out was buying large sums of liquidation or wholesale, not exactly knowing what I was going to get. So to answer your question, when you're first starting out, I would say that the dollar amount that you get started with is a dollar amount that you're comfortable losing. And I know that that is a little bit scary to think about, but when it comes to buying for resale, you should never spend more money than you can afford to lose, because we can't predict the future. We can look at comps and we can get an idea whether or not something may or may not sell during, a certain time frame, but there are no guarantees. So the amount of money that you should be using when you first start is a dollar amount that you're okay with having tied up for a little bit. Just try to make a wise decision on how you spend that money so that you have just a little bit of control over how long it may or may not sit. And then of course, as you become more experienced with selling, you get better at doing listings, you start understanding how the platform operates, and maybe you get to the point where you want to expand the kind of merchandise you're selling. At that point, then you can be a little bit more comfortable with making different kind of buys. But in the very beginning, I recommend that you start with $1 dollar amount you're comfortable with having tied up. It's not going to be a dollar amount that's going to hurt you financially if things don't sell right away. And I would be very diligent about hand picking the items that you sell. Sakitha Peak, did I say it right? Is it Sakitha? Says, I love your videos. Thank you so much. I wanted to know, with everyday life, how do you maximize your time so that you are making the most out of it? So I have to say that this last round of questions, I probably saw more questions about creating a schedule, being productive, balancing work life and family. I saw so many questions regarding this. I wanted to let you guys know that hopefully in the next week, I will have a video all about that coming out on my YouTube channel. It's been something that I've been promising you guys because I know that you always have questions about creating a schedule, productivity hacks, how I manage to juggle everything that I do and keep my sanity, which, spoiler alert, I don't always have my sanity, but I do my best. So hopefully in the next week or two, there will be a full video all about how I balance my schedule, how I am super productive and make sure that I get everything done. So make sure you're subscribed and watching out for that video to be released because it's coming out soon. But to answer your question and give you a little spoiler, one of the things that I will do to maximize my time is I will actually set a timer for certain tasks that I need to accomplish. So if I only have 30 minutes to get some drafts up on eBay, I will set a timer for 30 minutes and I will go as hard as I can and try to do as many as possible before the timer beeps. Something else that you can do to maximize that time even more is to put your phone on airplane mode so that you have no notifications going off so that you can take that block of time and focus and get stuff done. I swear, if I have my phone on airplane mode and a timer going, I can accomplish more in 30 minutes than an hour and a half. Kelly says, hi Lindey, you're the best. Kelly, you're the best. If you were to add a category outside of health and beauty, which category would you add? I would probably add office supplies. And the reason for that is one of the things that I really like about health and beauty is how small everything is. Everything is pretty much first class. It all can fit in a bubble mailer. It doesn't take up a lot of space in inventory, and office supplies are the exact same way. I would compare office supplies to cosmetics. It takes up the same amount of room. You could fit them in the same size box. You can drop them in a bubble mailer the same way, they ship for the same weight, and everybody uses office supplies. Sweet Al asks, when making your YouTube videos, what editing software do you use and how much time do you spend on editing? So I currently use Final Cut Pro to edit all of my YouTube videos, but it wasn't always that way. When I first started making YouTube videos, I was using Windows Movie Maker, which was completely free, and then I was using the Viva Video app on my phone. A lot of you guys don't know this, but some of my earliest videos were filmed, edited, and uploaded all from my cell phone. So the Viva Video app is not free. I think it's $12.99 a year in order to get the watermark taken off. But the Viva Video app that goes on your cell phone is very, very user-friendly. It takes very little learning curve at all. You can realistically film, edit, and upload from your phone. I am the perfect example that you don't need fancy equipment to upload videos to YouTube. And how much time do I spend on editing? That is a little bit more difficult to answer. Sometimes one video can take me an hour to edit, and then a more complicated video with a bunch of text or image overlays, or if it's highly edited, then it could take me more like 3 or 4 hours to edit. It just kind of depends. But I've been really curious if you guys are a little bit more interested in content having to do with video editing or YouTube growth, content like that for my YouTube channel, because that is definitely some content that I wouldn't mind making. I've been noticing that I've been getting a lot more questions lately about making money on YouTube, growing YouTube videos, how I do my video edits, and all of that. If you guys are interested in that kind of content coming to my YouTube channel, let me know down in the comments below, because that's definitely content that I could probably talk for hours about. AutoBuff65 asks, what would you say is the best category to sell strictly local for the fastest return on your investment? I would say furniture. Some of the quickest flips that I've had locally were furniture. For a while, when I was wanting to grow my capital really quickly, I was buying and selling furniture on Facebook Marketplace. My husband and I would go to Goodwill. We would look for things like entertainment centers, coffee tables, console tables. We would buy it at Goodwill or a thrift store for 15, 20 bucks, and then we would flip it on Facebook Marketplace for 50. People are always looking for furniture on Facebook Marketplace. Mama Rosling asks, when you run a sale, but you also accept best offer, how does that work? If I run a 30% sale on all shirts and then someone makes an offer, do they get the 30% off with their offer that I accept? I'm unclear on how this would work. So any offer that someone sends on your items is an offer based on the price that they see, which would be the price with the discount. So let's say you have a $20 item and you're running a 10% off sale. That means that your potential buyer sees a price of $18. So whatever offer they send you is based on that $18 price. So if you have a $20 item that's marked down 10%, they might send you a $15 offer. This is why running sales with a large percentage can be really dangerous if you also accept best offer, because any offer that a buyer is going to send you is going to be based on the price that they see, which is that discount. Nobody sends a best offer of your full asking price when you're running a sale. If you're running a sale, they're going to send an offer off of the price that they see, which reflects the discount. Picking, painting, and other stuff asks, hi Lindy, hello. Love your videos and helpful information. Thank you very much. What do you think is the biggest mistake that resellers trying to change to full-time resellers make? I think the biggest mistake is probably going full-time too quickly and not realizing that you cannot take a ton of money out of your business in the very beginning. I think a lot of sellers don't realize how much capital you constantly have tied up in inventory because you have to wait for items to sell. And if you're constantly pulling money out of your business in order to pay yourself, you're slowly running out of capital in order to buy new inventory to offset the inventory that's still waiting to be sold. When I first got into reselling, I did not give myself a paycheck for a year. I was just constantly taking the funds that I was getting from sales and putting it back into inventory so that I could continuously grow. It took at least a year for me to get to the point where I could start taking any money out of the business without sacrificing growth. It's really easy to get excited when you start selling things and you start seeing money hit your bank account. It's really easy to think that you have all of this money that is essentially spendable or disposable, but as soon as you start spending that money, I don't think you realize that you could be inhibiting your growth or even slowing your business down by spending the funds. So I think if anyone was wanting to quit their 9-to-5 to be a full-time seller, I think that you should get your business to the point where you're able to consistently draw a certain amount of money to pay yourself for at least 6 months before you quit your job. Nomad Glass 77 asks, do you have a downtime day where you don't do anything for your business? I try. It doesn't always happen. But usually if there is a day where that happens, it's a Saturday. So usually Monday to Friday, I'm doing something related to some sort of business that I operate. Sundays used to be designated lazy Sunday day. However, when you run a business where you sell merchandise and you have to do shipping, I like to get a head start on my shipping on Sundays so that I don't have a ton of packages to take care of on Monday mornings. So for the most part, I will have kind of a down day on Sundays, except for the shipping part, but Saturday is usually a day where I don't do anything for my business unless I want to. Usually on Saturdays, I might do a little bit of catching up. I might edit some videos, or maybe I'll list some stuff on eBay. But for the most part, if I'm going to take a down day, it's a Saturday. Michelle Lehman asks, hello, Lindy. Hello, Michelle. I love these frequently asked Friday videos. Thank you so much. Me too. My question is about the Scotch Flex and Seal shipping roll. Do you put your items in a bag first or just plop it onto the roll? Plop it onto the roll. Can it be used for everything? Shoes, clothes? They show a baseball hat in the video. I would think that it would get squashed. My mind is so blown. I can't absorb it. Do you use it all the time? Yes, I do. So if you don't know what the Scotch Flex and Seal shipping roll is, I do have a video where I demonstrate using it. I go over all of the perks. It's just basically a product review video. I will link it up here in the iCards. I'll also put it down in the video description if you missed that video. But this Scotch Flex and Seal shipping roll is amazing. I still use it. I used it this morning when I shipped out merchandise. It really truly does protect things just as well as a box does. But to answer your first question, do I bag it or anything? Most of the time I don't. I have been told by people though, if you use the Scotch Flex and Seal, it can remove some of the packaging art if the packaging is a little bit older. So if you're dealing with something that is a little bit more, I guess, vintage, or it's not as new, if the packaging is starting to flake a little bit, then you might want to package it in a bag first, because this Flex and Seal shipping roll, it's not an adhesive, but it's a material that sticks to itself. But if the item that you're putting inside of it has material that's similar to the material that it's constructed out of, I think it can end up sticking to the item. So as a precaution, you might want to stick something in just a little clear bag or something if you're worried about cover art or something coming off. But I've never personally had any issues. I've never had anyone contact me to say that the item just stuck to the Flex and Seal and they're disappointed that it's ruined. I've never had anything like that happen. But this Scotch Flex and Seal shipping roll is amazing. And yes, they do demo a hat with it and it doesn't get squished. I know it's amazing. That's why I'm like, my whole world of shipping got shook when I started using the Scotch Flex and Seal shipping roll. Fun fact, we even put something inside of the Scotch Flex and Seal and dropped it off of the roof and it was protected. I know, it's crazy. By the way, that's not recommended. That's why it wasn't included in the video. I had originally had it put in that video review I linked, and they asked me to remove it because they didn't want people going and dropping things off of their roof. But we did it, my husband and I. He climbed up on the roof, dropped a package, and it was perfectly protected. It was amazing. What if it gets dropped? What if it gets thrown against something? What if the package gets run over by a car? Just kidding. Psych, you didn't open it. That's a pretty good seal, huh?
Yeah, right?
Wow, look at the box. It still has shape. The Scotch Flex and Seal is definitely not cheaper than just a standard bubble mailer, but it has more protection. And I love using it for the items that I don't have a box that fits, or if I don't have a bag or a bubble mailer that I feel would protect the item as much. It is an amazing, amazing shipping product. I recommend everybody has a roll because I promise you it'll come in handy at some point if you're shipping every day. DLJ from PA asks, I appreciate all of the reselling knowledge you share. Thank you so much. I'm wondering if you could talk about growing your YouTube channel to nearly 100,000 subscribers. What do you think has been your key to YouTube success? So again, if you guys want more videos about YouTube growth, let me know in the comments below because I'd love to do some videos about it if you guys are interested. I would say that the biggest key to success is consistency. Honestly, I think that consistency is important in every business, whether it's growing any form of social media, growing an eBay store, getting favorable in any algorithm, you need to have consistency. If you only post a video every once in a while, you're not going to have the consistency. Consistency, keywords, and just basically not stopping. Honestly, there are many channels out there that I've seen that had some consistent growth that just suddenly stopped posting consistently and their growth came to a screeching halt. You have to be consistent. I would say upload once to twice a week at a minimum. But don't get me wrong, sometimes consistency is extremely difficult, especially if you're not seeing the growth that you want, but you still have to be diligent, you still have to be consistent, otherwise the growth will stop. Renee Hunter asks, do you take your own photos or use stock images? I never see in your videos taking photos. I always take my own photos. Now, stock photos are technically not allowed on eBay, But the only time stock photos are allowed is if the photo already exists in the eBay product catalog. But even then, a lot of the times those stock photos won't match your item exactly, or you'll want to have more than just the one stock photo. It's my experience that buyers like to see the item that they're purchasing. There are a lot of sellers out there that only ever use stock photos, and yes, they probably get lots of business, but I would much rather have a photo that looks different from everybody else's. That way my listing stands out amongst a sea of stock photos. And I also have a video coming out towards the end of the month that is all about taking photos for eBay. So make sure you're subscribed, be on the lookout because that video is coming in the next few weeks. David Hammond asks, do you have any employees that help you with shipping and packing? No. I do not. For about a year, I did have an assistant helping me do drafts on eBay, but she never helped with shipping or packaging or inventory of items. And when I moved to my new house, which is in another town, I've been doing everything by myself ever since. I am hoping to hire someone to help me in 2021 though, so I can get a little bit more listings up, but I will always be the one who is doing all of the shipping of my items. LT asks, hi Lindey, hello. I'm loving the idea of opening up an eBay store and have done several months of research. I'm scared that during the pandemic might be the wrong time to start. What advice can you give me to give me that push? Much thanks. During the pandemic is the perfect time. Just saying. I'm just saying, because more people are buying online now than ever before. This is the time to start selling merchandise online. And from my own personal experience, my eBay store exploded the first couple of months of the pandemic because everyone was stuck at home. Everyone was buying merchandise online, which meant I was getting more business than ever. So in my personal opinion, not only is this pandemic the perfect time to start selling merchandise online because the buyers are there for it, but it's also the perfect time for you to start selling online because this is a perfect opportunity for you to start making money from home without having to leave your house. So this pandemic is beneficial for sellers in two ways. You have the potential to make more money from home without having to go out to a job, and you have the potential to sell to more buyers now than ever before. So there's your push. It's the perfect time. Anjo Resell asks, hi Lindey, hello. Do you set goals for the next year coming up? So I always try to set goals, even if it's just 3 things that I want to try to accomplish throughout the year. I'll try to set a couple of year-end goals, and then I might set a few maybe semi-annual kind of goals, but I always feel like I perform better when there's something that I'm looking to achieve, and it doesn't have to be anything monumental. One of the suggestions that I would give to anybody looking to make goals for themselves is to actually make them achievable. If you constantly have this habit of setting goals for yourself, of these things that are just crazy and unattainable, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to just get sidetracked and not worrying about, try to accomplish them because they were hard to achieve to begin with. So if you want to set some goals for yourself, like I want to list 5 more items a week, that is attainable. Or I want to increase my sales by 10%, that's a lot more attainable than saying something like you want to go from $1,000 a month in sales to $10,000 a month in sales. That's a lot more far-fetched and harder to achieve. But I find that if you set achievable goals, that you're a lot more motivated to keep pursuing them. Bobby Falls asks, I love your videos. Thank you so much, Bobby. I've learned a lot from you. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. How often should I list items to make daily sales? This is another question that I get so much. I wanted to let you guys know that there is a video coming out soon. I know, I feel like all I'm doing is telling you guys, oh, I'll answer that question in a video coming out in a couple weeks, or, oh, there's another video coming out next week. But no, really, a lot of the times I will get so many questions that are similar or the same. I decide, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and make a video about it. And this is one of them. I get this question all the time. How many items do I need to list for daily consistent sales? So I have a video, it's already filmed. I just need to get it edited and scheduled for upload. It should be up in the next couple of weeks, where it's the secret secret formula for getting daily sales. So that video is coming. And the reason why I wanted to do a dedicated video on it is because it's really hard for me to answer this question in a little 30-second answer. So Bobby, what I will say is rather than focus on a number of items to list, focus on consistency and list something every day. And if you can't list something every single day, try to have some form of activity in your eBay store at least every day. Whether it's refreshing a listing by editing it and saving it, or maybe you lower the price or raise the price, maybe you adjust a title somewhere, or just list whatever you can every day. I think, again, consistency is key. Consistency is more important than listing a magic number every day. Melon de just Melon. We're gonna call you Melon. Hello, Lindy. Hello, Melon. Love your videos. I'm just now getting the hang of reselling, and my question is, how long do you work in a day? And do you ever feel stressed out sorting items and listing? So the first part of your question, how long do I work in a day? So typically I will work while my kids are in school. Well, I'll work while my 5-year-old is in school because he's the one that requires the most attention. My high schooler just kind of takes care of himself. But so my 5-year-old is in school for roughly 6 hours a day where I can work uninterrupted. So my work day is basically 6 hours long. However, I do not do the same task for the full 6 hours. I am completely incapable of working for 6 hours on the same project. It doesn't happen. I find that I have enough energy for 2 hours on one task. About 2 hours is about as much as I'm able to force myself to stay on one task before I just have like the squirrel moments and I want to move on to something else. So if I have a 6-hour workday, I will do 3 to 4 different things during that workday. Maybe I'll list for 2 hours, maybe I'll take 2 hours and edit a video, maybe I'll film a video, and then maybe I'll spend the last hour or two organizing inventory and doing shipping. And do I ever feel stressed out? All the time. I'm stressed out and overwhelmed right now. I have honestly been filming this video for almost 2 hours. Because I can't seem to get in the right mindset because my brain is going a million miles a minute with all of the things that I need to get done. I am extremely stressed out all the time. The easiest way I combat that is to just kind of take a step back, breathe, and remind myself that this is my business. And it's really funny because anytime I get super stressed out and overwhelmed, I have to remind myself that I did it to myself. And a lot of the times that actually kind of helps take the pressure off, because when you remind yourself that this is your business and you are the one in control, it almost clicks in my brain that I can take some of that pressure off of myself because I'm doing it to myself. So I have the power to stop it. Julie Klatz says, my sales have been crazy slow this week. Are you noticing that also? Yes. I actually had a day where I did not get one sale. Now, I know how that might sound like, oh, you didn't get one sale in a day, oh, whatever. But no, really, when I have no sales in a day, that is extremely abnormal. Like, I didn't even sell a $6 tube of lipstick. That is way out of the norm. So I am definitely noticing that sales have really, really dipped for me. And I know that I'm not the only one. My next sold video is going to be out next Tuesday, and I'm gonna go over all of my sales for the month of November, and my sales definitely went down. So if your sales are down, know that you are not alone. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. We have the pandemic that we're dealing with. We have the election stuff that's still going on. The holidays are coming up, and people are really strapped for cash because of this pandemic, and people have been waiting on another stimulus payment. Everything is just really crazy right now, so I'm honestly not surprised that sales are low. But just know that if your sales are low, so are mine, so are a lot of persons. So are a lot of folks that got slow sales. Doris P asks, how can you make a decent profit when shampoos and lotions weigh more than makeup and you offer free shipping? So most of the time, these heavy items that I sell, like shampoos and lotions, I will be putting into a flat rate envelope of some kind. So a standard flat rate envelope will ship for roughly $7.33 right now because of the temporary price increase because of Q4, and a padded A flat rate envelope will ship for closer to $8. So I will make my listings based on those prices and include free shipping. Now, not everything is going to be worth paying that dollar amount. That's why I will also do lots of shampoos and lotions. So rather than sell one bottle of lotion that's going to have to go in a flat rate envelope, I will try to fit 2 or 3, and I will sell 2 or 3 of these shampoos or lotions because 3 of them are going to ship for the same dollar amount as a single. So it doesn't make much sense to sell a bottle of lotion for $10 in free shipping if it's going to cost me almost $8 to ship it. But it starts to make more sense if I have 2 or 3 that I can sell for $30 and ship for that same $8 shipping label. So that's kind of where my mind is for those kind of things. How many of those big heavy items can I fit in a flat rate envelope and ship for the same dollar amount? Because the more items that you have in a listing to sell, the higher listing price you can have, which means the more profit you can make on a single transaction. Lisa George asks, do you miss going out and thrifting? I know that's how many of us started the love of thrifting. I really don't miss thrifting. I would probably feel differently about thrifting if I had more chances where I was able to find really high dollar amount gems. But around here, I just never found high value stuff. I was constantly disappointed when I would go out thrifting because if I could find something worth $20, that was considered a score for me. And when I had to spend so much time going out hunting things that really didn't have the monetary benefit, it felt like a waste of time. So I could potentially be out thrifting all day long and only find a small handful of items that would even bring me $20. I love liquidation so much more because the stuff just shows up at my house and I have the potential to find a lot more gems. And it was all delivered to me. I didn't have to go out and find it. Randy Harrell asks, hello, Lindey. Hi, Randy. Knowing that you sell on several different platforms, eBay, Amazon, Mercari, Poshmark, etc., what are the criteria that you use to determine which platform to sell a particular item on? Thank you for your time. Okay, so of course, only you can have that determination of whether an item would perform better for you on a particular platform, but this is me. This is the way my brain thinks. So because I purchased liquidation, most of the time, the first place I'm going to put that liquidation is on eBay because Amazon has some policies against liquidation. They don't like liquidation. So it's not a very good idea to put liquidation items on Amazon because you can get your account in trouble. So because I do mostly liquidation, my hub where I list just about everything first is going to be eBay. Then of course, if I have some wholesale or retail arbitrage items, I know that the best place for those is probably going to be Amazon because most of the time those items command a higher price on Amazon versus eBay. Poshmark, I honestly don't really list as much anymore because Poshmark is really geared towards clothing. They have opened up the home goods category, but I don't really list anything in the home categories on Poshmark. I do have cosmetics and skincare and stuff like that, but again with Poshmark, you have to pay for a priority shipping label, which means a shipping label is over $7 on Poshmark, and I don't really know if the market is there for the kind of beauty items that I'm selling. So I just do well on eBay with those. So I don't really bother cross-posting those items to Poshmark right now. And then with Mercari, I will go ahead and put the items that are a little bit bulkier and heavier because Mercari has better prices for their FedEx and UPS shipping labels for the heavier, bigger items. So it's a lot more simple for me to put bigger, bulkier items over on Mercari and just opt for the Mercari shipping label because it's usually cheaper for me or the buyer if they're buying a large, heavy item. Cheryl L. Quintella asks, what have you learned at this stage of your reselling career that you wish you would have known when you started reselling? Oh, there's so many things. It's only after you've been doing this for like 10, 15 years that you realize when you first started, you really didn't know anything. I wish I would have known that Reselling is not one size fits all. I wish I would have known years ago that you do have to get into your own groove and you have to find your own rhythm and you have to find the things that sell the best for you, regardless of what you think sells for other people. For a really long time when I got into reselling, I was trying to sell things that I saw my dad selling and I just couldn't figure it out. You know, my dad would sell the most random things from yard sales, and so I started buying random things from yard sales and I would get frustrated when they wouldn't sell. And then I started seeing other people sell different kinds of clothing and shoes, and I tried to sell clothing and shoes and I just couldn't sell some of the items that I saw other people selling, and they would sit for me and I would get frustrated and I would just spend way too much time comparing myself to the sales that I saw other people getting. It took me a really long time to figure out that reselling is not one size fits all. What sells for me might not sell for you. What sells for you might not sell for me. Your sell-through rate is probably gonna be different from my sell-through rate. Where I live, I'm probably gonna find different merchandise than where you live. There's so many factors that it can't be one size fits all. All we can do is try different things and see what works best for us. And I think if I would have known this in the beginning, I would have saved myself a lot of headache. All right, is everybody ready to find out the next winner of the 100-piece liquidation lot from Wholesale Ninjas? Drum roll, please. The winner chosen by random comment selection is B. Blaze. Mr. or Miss Blaze, I've already responded to your comment. Just make sure to get with me and I will forward all of your information on to Wholesale Ninjas. B. Blaze asks, when you talk about Markdown Manager sales, how long do you run them for and what is a good sale to have? Example, 20%, 10%. I have had sales before and no response. Maybe I've had them for too short or too long of a time frame, or I didn't do enough of a markdown. Your help would be much appreciated. So I personally don't run huge markdown percentages because I already price my items competitively. So I don't like to run more than 10% off because then I find that I'm eating way too much into my profits. So usually I'll do between 5 and 10% when I run a markdown. Now I do find that the duration of time that you run your sales for does matter. So I will personally run 2 to 3 sales a week. I used to run my sales for a week or two, and something that I was starting to notice was that I would get a lot of traffic and a lot of activity when my sale first began, and then when my sale was about ready to end. But it was those days in the middle that I wasn't really getting any attention on my listings at all. So then I started running sales for 2 to 3 days at a time, and it seemed like I was constantly having traffic to my listings because I was almost always having a sale starting and a sale ending. And I think that the magic of this is because when a sale first starts, your listing is fresh, there's something new happening to it, so eBay is going to try to entice buyers to click on it by putting it higher up in search. And then the same thing when your sale starts coming to an end. There's a little bit of that urgency for the buyer to hurry up and buy because the sale is going to come to an end and it might appear as though the listing is going to disappear. So you said that you've run sales before and you had no response. My big question to you would be, how many listings do you currently have available for sale? So it's not always about just running a markdown manager automatically gets you sales. There is a lot of other things that come into play, and one of those is how many items you actually have available for sale. Because if you run a sale for a week, but you only have 10 items listed, then you're waiting for the perfect buyers for 10 items. Versus if you have 1,000 items listed for sale and you're running a markdown manager sale over the course of a week, then you have 1,000 items for buyers to pick from. So basically, the more items you have available for sale, the more chances you have to actually sell an item. So if you're running sales and you're not really seeing a lot of traffic from them, something else that you can also double check is your prices to make sure that your prices are within market. Because if you have one item that everybody is selling for $30 and you have yours priced at $50, and when you run a sale, you're still higher than everybody else selling that item, the likelihood that you're gonna sell your item isn't any better just because you're running a markdown sale. So if you have a good amount of items listed and you're running a markdown sale and it's still not selling, double check and make sure that you're not overpriced for your market. Right, you guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Frequently Asked Fridays. The next episode will be posted on Friday, December the 18th. And if you want a chance to win a 100 count lot from Wholesale Ninjas, ask me a question down in the comments below. Just make sure to put 5 question marks at the start of your question. That way I know that you're entering to win. And then make sure to tune in the next episode to see if you won the free lot from Wholesale Ninjas. Don't forget, I put a bunch of useful information down in the video description. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a like if you like this video series. And thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you guys with my next video. Bye-bye.